European leaders say the Paris Climate Accord can't be renegotiated in the wake of Donald Trump's decision to pull the US out of the deal. President Trump, in announcing his decision to abandon the 2015 agreement, has vowed to reach a new deal that would offer better protection for American workers, such as coal miners. The move has drawn condemnation and disappointment from around the world, and ironically from some of the very workers the US president has claimed to represent. Anne Barker reports.
Donald Trump says he weighed advice from both sides in the climate debate before making his decision, but in the end he put jobs and the economy above the environment.
The fact that the Paris deal hamstrings the United States while empowering some of the world's top polluting countries should dispel any doubt as to the real reason why foreign lobbyists wish to keep our magnificent country tied up and bound down by this agreement. It's to give their country an economic edge over the United States.
President Trump singled out Pittsburgh as one of 3 cities that stood to gain from a US withdrawal from the climate change accord, yet some of the harshest criticism of his decision has come from inside the US, including from Pittsburgh's mayor Bill Peduto, who on Twitter pointed out that 80% of Pittsburgh voters didn't vote for Donald Trump.
Pittsburgh stands with the world and will follow the Paris Agreement.
Former presidential candidate Bernie Sanders said the decision to withdraw from the Paris Accord represents an abdication of American leadership and an international disgrace. Business leaders too have hit out. The head of the Walt Disney Company, Bob Iger, and Tesla CEO Elon Musk have both resigned from President Trump's advisory council on policy in protest. Elon Musk tweeted,
"Climate change is real. Leaving Paris is not good for America or the world."
The former Secretary of State, John Kerry, played a key role in US negotiations on the Paris Accord.
The president is not, in fact, making America great again in this. He is weakening America. He's losing jobs. He's exposing Americans to worse climate change.
Though Donald Trump's decision was widely expected, world leaders have still reacted with shock. A United Nations spokesman, Stéphane Dujarric, says it's crucial the US remains a leader on environmental issues.
The decision by the United States to withdraw from the Paris Agreement on climate change is a major disappointment for global efforts to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and promote international security. The Paris Agreement was adopted by all the world's nations in 2015 because they recognize the immense harm that climate change is already causing and the enormous opportunity that climate action represents.
President Trump, in announcing his decision, has vowed to renegotiate America's participation in the climate accord, but European leaders from France, Germany and Italy say that won't and cannot happen. French President Emmanuel Macron says the US decision is a mistake for the future of the planet.
Ce soir, les États-Unis ont tourné le dos au monde.
Tonight, the United States turned its back on the world, he says, but France won't turn its back on the Americans. I assure you, my fellow citizens and those who are listening to me, wherever you are in the world, France won't abandon the fight. In no case will we renegotiate a less ambitious agreement. Tonight, France calls on all signatory nations to remain in the framework of the Paris Agreement, to remain with the responsibilities that are our own, and to cede nothing. President Trump's decision means the US is now alone with Syria and Nicaragua as the only countries in the world that have failed to sign on to the Paris Accord. Nearly 200 countries remain committed to the pact, and even the world's heaviest polluter, China, who Donald Trump has accused of fabricating the concept of global warming, has vowed to keep up the fight against climate change. Premier Li Keqiang says China was one of the first countries to ratify the Paris deal. China has a saying, promises must be kept and actions must be resolute. He says it's a worldwide call to deal with climate change. It's not something invented by China. There's criticism too from Pacific Island nations who stand to bear the brunt of rising seas caused by global warming. Many see the Paris Climate Accord as a key step towards their salvation. The Marshall Islands says its survival now depends on every other country delivering on the promises they've made in Paris.
Anne Barker reporting.